The economy of the Hadean Galaxy is a vast and intricate system, spanning hundreds of thousands of worlds, countless cultures, and millions of trade routes crisscrossing star lanes and wormhole networks. At its core, it is driven by the same fundamental principles that have governed human economies for millennia: supply and demand, competition, and the pursuit of profit. This dynamic plays out on the intergalactic stock market, a quantumly entangled trading network that handles quadrillions of credits transactions daily. And underneath those systems lie ever darker negotiations. The Galactic Credit Unit, often referred to as G-Coin, credits, or simply creds, was the official reserve currency of the economy. These financial instruments were issued by the government-run Galactic Bank to its 4 subsidiary banks, each presiding over a distinct galactic quadrant, with interest rates ranging from 0.01% to 1.5%. These institutions, collectively known as the Quadra Banks, or Q-Banks, strategically managed financial operations across the galaxy's cardinal sectors. In turn, Q-Banks would lend their funds to the sector banks, which were a mix of private and public institutions, at interest rates of anywhere from 1% to 4%. Sector banks loaned to individual planetary governments at rates ranging from 3% to 6%. Each world had its own central bank that would, in some special cases, distribute GCUs to large businesses operating on a galactic scale. In most cases, they would hold GCUs as a reserve and convert it into their various other fiat currencies for distribution to their local economies. They would lend it to local banks and institutions at a 4% to 7% interest rate. The local banks would then give loans to common citizens and businesses at rates of 10% to 15%. These were commonly used to pay employees and open small and medium businesses. This was how money trickled down from the Galactic Council into the wider galactic economy. If these loans were how they put money into the galactic economy, taxes were how they took it out. Taxes. While taxation methods varied wildly on each member world, what was universal were the mandatory 5 taxes that each planet paid to the Alliance. These included 1. Resource tax, a tariff on recognized raw materials and natural resources a world possessed. 2. Galactic Task Force dues, paid by planets for their continued protection under the GTF. 3. GDP taxes, applied to a world's gross domestic product. 4. Alliance world tax, applied to all worlds under the Galactic Alliance. 5. General transaction tax, applied across the board on any transfer of galactic credit units. Much like the banking sector, these funds were funneled up to the top through several tax agencies, the first of which was the Sector Trade Commission. This agency collected, monitored, and audited member worlds, and was primarily concerned with the taxation of those planets' GDP. They kept a close eye on the world population, their rates of unemployment, government stability, and a host of other factors which went into working out said GDP. Once they had that, a flat tax of 18% was applied. Overseeing the Sector Trade Commission was the Quadrant Trade Bureau, which audited and ensured each sector's trade commission was operating within normal parameters. At this level, the vast majority of the work was done by AI agents who could manage and audit hundreds of thousands of reports daily. This entire arm of the government fell under the Galactic Revenue Board, comprising 2 more tax departments. They were the Galactic Customs and Excise Division, the Galactic Natural Resources Oversight Committee. Both were charged with oversight and taxation of the wider galactic economy. They possessed similar structures to the Trade Commission up to the galactic level, where they all folded into or fell under the Galactic Revenue Board. To transact with any of these entities, GCUs were needed, sealing it as the de facto primary currency of the Hadean Galaxy. Expenses. While the government took in astronomical amounts of money through taxes and earned revenue across the entire galaxy, it spent even more, keeping them in a perpetual state of debt. The expenditures were vast and diverse, reflecting the immense scale of its operations. Almost a quarter of the budget, or roughly 20%, was allocated to monumental infrastructure projects such as starports, space hubs, galaxy-class spaceships, terraforming operations, and the Bion, a solar-sized brain interface computer designed to propel humanity into a future age. Law enforcement, defense, and security consumed the largest share at 30%. This covered the creation, training, and maintenance of galactic task force agents, divinators, the manhunter androids, and defense fleets, as well as border security and advanced cybersecurity measures. Social programs received 15%. Critical support was supplied to planets in economic, environmental, or cosmic distress through food aid, disaster relief, planetary evacuation, universal healthcare, and education subsidies. Government operations and upkeep accounted for 12%. This encompassed payroll, contracted services, and the maintenance of galaxy-wide administrative facilities. Research and development were allocated 8% for funding breakthroughs in medical science, advanced technologies, sustainable energy, and space exploration. Debt servicing and interest payments took up 10%. It was a necessary expense in a galaxy-spanning economy where the government borrowed extensively from private financial institutions, interstellar corporations, and even individual investors through bonds. These funds were crucial for financing large-scale projects and managing temporary budget deficits caused by crises or economic fluctuations. Pension funds and other large-scale savings programs also acted as creditors, lending resources in exchange for steady interest returns. This system of borrowing ensured the government could invest in humanity, though it came at the cost of perpetual debt, a burden sold as an investment in the prosperity of future generations. Finally, 3% of the budget went to economic subsidies and interplanetary trade development, while 2% was reserved for classified operations and special projects, ensuring the government could continue covert missions and cutting-edge research. Key players in the Hadean economy include drug companies, Incubus Drug Corporation, producers of Evogen, biosuits, and pioneers in genetic engineering. Gene Vault Pharmaceuticals focuses on life extension therapies and regenerative medicine. Created the Phoenix Serum, which allows cellular regeneration but requires periodic doses. Spiral Nexus Biosolutions develops biohormonal boosters for interstellar colonists, enabling faster adaptation to alien environments. Power companies, Starcore Energy Conglomerate, the galaxy's largest supplier of zero-point energy. Fusion Dynamics, experts in portable fusion reactors for remote colonies. Pulsar Grid Corporation manages the galaxy's energy distribution network using Dyson Swarm technology for efficient energy harvesting. Quantum Flux Enterprises, innovators in dark matter reactors providing clean energy to high-tech urban centers. Tech companies, Isotech, galactic conglomerate, makers of the Rocketman suit and leaders in advanced tech. Omicron Systems, an entire solar system manufacturing facility which is used solely to churn out manhunters, artificial agents based on the same architecture of the Jinx model, as well as their equipment, including ships and vehicles. Atmosforge Inc. specializes in atmospheric reconditioning and extreme environment terraforming. Cradleworks Solutions, focused on micro-terraforming for domed habitats and space stations. Terraforming companies, the Orbital Smith, conducts terraforming projects and operates terraforming ships like the Orbital Forge. ACE Terraforming Group, architects of construction and exploration terraforming group, experts in large-scale planetary engineering. Evangeline Terraforming Company, a branch of the ACE Terraforming Group, operates the Appleseed Terraforming ship. Transportation and transportation-adjacent companies, Stellar Transit Unlimited, provides Starliner services for civilian intergalactic travel. The Orbit Rail operates intra-system networks, specializes in bulk cargo transport using advanced wormhole tech. Voidrunners LLC, a courier company famous for delivering sensitive packages across war zones or pirate territories. Nebula Drive Company manufactures and maintains engines for starships, vital to interstellar travel. Weapons companies, the Arsenals Corporation, a subsidiary of Incubus Drug Corp, producing advanced weapons like the Jinx androids, based on the first model by Dr. Fazal Ali. The largest weapons contractor for the GTF. Helion Forge Armaments, renowned for plasma weaponry and starship-mounted cannons. Aphelion Munitions, a leader in explosive devices from micro-grenades to planetary-scale kinetic weapons. The Shadow Economy. While the GCU was the galaxy's undisputed currency king, it had a major flaw: privacy. By their very nature, each individual GCU could be tracked. Who had it, what it was used for, when and where a transaction was made. Because of this, many people, especially the elite and other high officials, were wary of relying solely on credits, and it was practically worthless in the underworld. As a result, an unregulated secondary market was born, the shadow economy. It ran parallel to the main economic system, complete with alternative forms of currency. These alternative currencies included gold and precious metals, a timeless standard of value, especially on less developed worlds. Fusion canisters and fusion cells, antimatter cores, antimatter packs, highly portable units of refined energy used to power ships and machinery. Cryochips, data-encoded crystal storage units that doubled as both currency and information repositories. Rares, a category of material that was extremely rare or hard to produce. These included items such as void crystals, exotic materials harvested from collapsed stars, prized for their rarity and high-tech applications. Ice-45, a dense ice formed naturally at the core of water worlds where water is under immense pressure and heat. Labor bonds, contracts tied to a person's service which boiled down to slavery. These slaves were traded like currency on frontier and banished worlds. Genetic keys, biological samples or genetic sequences, often exchanged by biotech corporations or outlawed researchers. The shadow economy was held together and functioned on phantom credits, a currency with no ties to physical or digital infrastructure within the Alliance. Phantom credits were believed to be exchanged through an ancient decentralized system of void ledger technology, so obscure that even the most advanced Alliance AI systems could not crack it. It enabled illegal trade. This underground framework supported the financial system on the surface, with various on and off ramps dedicated to passing wealth in and out of the shadow economy. This was the primary way criminal enterprises kept their operations alive. It would be a mighty endeavor for the government to shut down this parallel industry, even if they had the will to do so. But given the fact that the government itself made extensive use of this dark money on shadow networks, they turned a blind eye. Key players in this hidden economy include the Wraith Consortium, a mysterious cartel controlling the distribution of void crystals and advanced cloaking technologies. Rift traders, nomadic merchants who navigate unstable wormholes, smuggling contraband between quarantined star systems. Silent syndicates, underground financial networks laundering phantom credits through legitimate galactic enterprises. The hidden elite economy. Behind the visible and shadow economies existed an overarching system of control, implemented by the Galactic Council to strengthen their influence across the galaxy. This economy was not open to the public. Individuals comprising this system were hand-selected by the Council, with the vast majority representing the top 0.1% of the most exceptional individuals from both the criminal underworld and private sectors. They were the best and brightest, the most skillful, influential, and powerful people in the galaxy. By controlling them, the Council's rule was secured indefinitely. This elite group was dubbed the Pantheon by the Council. And as most of these individuals were already fabulously wealthy, the Council did not control them with money, but life itself. Yes, the primary currency here was not GCUs or phantom credits, but essence, a form of tradable life force or spirit energy that represented both economic and biological value. Essence came in lantern-like vessels, the very same ones divinators carried on their person. One could not simply obtain the essence within a vessel, as a god-tongue user was needed to infuse the stored life force into an individual. This meant that only the Council and highly skilled divinators could dispense the life force. The Pantheon was paid for their services throughout the galaxy with shipments of essence, doled out in increments of 1, 10, 100, and 1,000 years. Members were free to use this as they saw fit, whether on themselves or requesting it be bestowed upon loved ones. Members must continually prove their usefulness to the Council to maintain their shipments, meaning so long as they had the Council's favor, they were essentially immortal. Thus, their longevity was directly tied to their continued utility and loyalty. Composition of the Pantheon. This group, carefully curated by the Galactic Council, who controls the most critical resource in the universe, include hyper-intelligent scientists, master strategists, technological innovators, genetic engineering prodigies, quantum computing experts, criminal overlords, assassins and spies, futurists, entertainers, writers, religious leaders. Control mechanism. The mechanism of control was brutally elegant. Perform exceptionally and receive a life extension. Become less useful and risk losing your spot on the Pantheon. Betray the system and you will be forced to return the life given you. Most died after being drained of the essence owed, while some were left in a state of rapid aging. The Council viewed this as a simple matter of repayment for a job not completed. So while the galactic market appeared to run on GCUs, the real power lay in the ability to extend, shorten, or terminate life. The Pantheon members were both the most privileged and the most controlled entities in the galaxy, prisoners in a gilded cage. Life force mining process. Outside of the Galactic Council, it was never fully understood by anyone where essence originated. Rumors suggested they could extract this energy from a moment of peak human potential, extreme emotional states, quantum entanglement of consciousness, harvesting from dying stars, extraction from the very fabric of space-time. But the truth was discovered by a talented divinator named Francis Cabal. He was the first to discover that what the Council had passed off as an artificial form of life force was anything but. What he found was that the Council mined this spirit energy through secret factories and facilities scattered across the galaxy, and that these secret facilities were human farms. There, life force or spirit energy was harvested from newly formed life. In their quest for life extension dating all the way back to the dark days on the Ark, it was revealed that at the moment of conception, a fetus draws life force out of a base dimension or prime dimension brimming with this life force. Capable God tongue users could feel and sense this energy entering into their reality with every child conceived. However, this overwhelming life spring was inaccessible to them. Later, it was also found that this energy was dispensed from this barred-off realm in increments of 1,000-year life units for humans and 10 to 20 years for clones. The same process was observed for animals. In their experiments, the first God tongue users attempted siphoning it from animals, but quickly realized that it was not agnostic. Essence essentially operated at different frequencies depending on the organism it was intended for. What this meant was that those who fed on the life force of animals experienced a grotesque mutation. They lost the things that made them human, free will and power of reasoning. As it slipped away, they eventually became the very animals they had vampirized. All these discoveries, coupled with the emergence of Idol, the death of the Galactic Council leader during the creation of the Oort cloud, and the new leader being much more pragmatic, led to the inevitable trading of the divinator's power. In the Council's essence factories, they had humans cloned endlessly and had life force siphoned off while still in their embryonic stage. However, these were low yields, only returning 1 to 20 years worth of spirit energy for consumption. The highest yield stock came from the artificially inseminated embryos collected primarily from underprivileged women across the galaxy. The process started with the collection of unfertilized eggs from medical institutions or directly from women in need of economic aid. Fertilized eggs from women seeking abortions were also diverted from medical institutions to these secret facilities. As for the unfertilized eggs, these were artificially inseminated in highly controlled environments. At the moment of conception, the life force bestowed upon the unborn child was extracted and stored in specialized vessels for later consumption. However, imperfections in the human body which acted as a flawed vessel caused life force to leak at varying rates and ultimately determined an individual's lifespan. Key players in this sinister economy include the Galactic Council, divinators, the Pantheon.
This concludes our understanding of the Hadean Galaxy economic system. If you found this interesting, leave a like or subscribe for more world-building content. We appreciate every bit of support on our journey through the stars. In our next installment, we return to the Dark Ages. Our destination is the Caucasoid waterworld, Eden. As we follow the settlers of planet Eden, let's dive deep into a world of water and whites.
This has been a Gem Mine publishing production. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Your support means the world to us. If you'd like to go the extra mile in supporting our work, consider checking out our books available on our website or on Amazon. Your purchase directly contributes to the creation of more content. Thank you for being a part of the Gem Mine publishing community. We can't wait to bring you more captivating content in the future.